Welcome back to GFF and Friends, the podcast. The podcast that's not a girl, but not yet a woman. Hello, I'm your host, GFF, aka Todd. And joining me today is one of my oldest friends, one of the biggest drag stars I know. She reeks with talent. It's Jackie B.
Do I talk now? Hi.
So, was that a 20-minute intro? Was that too much of you not talking?
No, it's fabulous. I'm so thrilled to be here in the hills of Glendale.
Thank you for traveling all the way over the Dale to Glendale to visit me today.
Oh, thrilled to be here. I'm very impressed.
Have you ever been to such luxury?
Heartened by all the Kamala Harris signs. Do you know when this is going to air?
This will actually air the week of the election, like right before the election. This is the penultimate. This is the Saturday Night Live before the election. So get it all out now and tell the people what to do.
From my non-existent white lips to God's non-existent ears.
This could be our last ounce of joy before the world ends or before the world gets better.
Well, I bought a condominium in Puerto Vallarta. So.
Excuse me? Multiple properties now? You own multiple properties with a drag career?
I would... Well, first of all, in Legendary.
Truth.
Second of all, no. These fetuses, that just throw a handful of glitter in their little... gelatinous faces and, put on some eyelashes. No. I was going to buy, I wanted to buy a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. They're not even built yet. And the earlier
they
you
have
buy,
to sell
the
the condo
cheaper
before
they
they build it. That's how they build it.
Right. So anyway, I was going to buy a 2-bedroom, 2-bath and go in halves with Sherry Vine, and she dragged her feet for so long. I was just like, bitch. Can I say bitch?
You can say whatever you want.
Bitch! I am moving on without you. So I got a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and it was like shockingly inexpensive.
Well, I was going to say, now, is that in a hurricane zone? Do you have to worry about climate change?
Well, is that real?
Oh, not on this podcast.
Yeah, no.
And they haven't even built the building yet. The building's not built.
Well, it was supposed to be done, and then I don't know if you know how Mexico works. I mean, I don't want to throw an entire country under the bus. I love Mexico, but it's a little corrupt. So they're building a building, and then somebody walks up and says, if you want to keep building, I need you to hand me a bag of money.
Oh, no.
So anyway, it's supposed to be done.
Be real shame if this building collapsed kind of thing.
Right.
All right, well.
So anyway, it's supposed to be done in January, but I'm not holding my breath because they just keep, but whatever, I don't need it quite yet, but.
Is it where you are running away if the world goes to shit?
Quite possibly.
All right.
And, that sounds hyperbolic. But
now, isn't Puerto Vallarta kind of the new P-Town when it comes to like shows? Like, can't you do like a very long kind of residency show in Puerto Vallarta now?
I mean, they have a season and...
is there a season?
It's beautiful. Yeah. There's Zona Romantica, which is the very gay area and like touristy, and that is very, 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 very... One more very expensive. So I bought in Versailles, which is Versailles, but that's how they say it.
Yes, quote unquote.
So anyway, that's like literally a 5-minute Uber drive, which is a couple bucks. And
well, how long is the flight from LA?
Oh, I don't know anything.
I've never. Things are just done for you.
How many calories in a 6-piece McNugget? It's like I don't know.
None of your business.
None of my business. I'm vegan now.
Are you? You really are?
Yeah, Mario and I went vegan.
And this is what you look like? Well, all right. How long have you been vegan?
People thought I froze, but I just froze emotionally when you intimated that I should weigh less because I'm a fat vegan.
I will say that your skin looks amazing.
It does?
Yeah. It doesn't look like you've had ranch recently.
Oh yeah, no,
it looks good.
No, I've had plant-based ranch,
vegan ranch, which is just like whipped chickpeas or something.
I'm not gonna put up with any bad talk about chickpeas.
I love chickpeas. How long have you been vegan?
Mario and I we went the same time. We watched a documentary.
Oh, of course.
And we were like, well, first of all, listen, I'm 61 years old. So when you say my skin looks great, like I'm trying to stay alive and I'm trying to undo past damage. I obviously am finding delicious food here in Los Angeles. I can't even
that's
talk.
the thing. Yeah.
I can't talk because I have no protein. So
coconut oil is all cholesterol. So
yeah, I mean, you could eat a bowl of sugar and it's vegan.
True.
But anyway, here's my point. We watched this documentary and I think it's been over a year now. And maybe 4 months into being vegan, I went and had blood work done.
Okay.
And my friend Muffy, who knows everything, like, do you have a friend who knows anything medical?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When I go get a checkup, I will send her my blood pressure, and she'll be like, "Bitch, that is textbook." And my resting heart rate, and So anyway, I sent her screen grabs of all my blood work, cholesterol, this, that, everything, and she was like, "This is literally the blood work of a 20-year-old athlete."
Look at
Not
you.
A 61-year-old morbidly obese drag queen.
Well, a life on the stage is a workout. Like, doing drag is a workout.
It really is.
That's why they call some TV shows the Olympics of drag. Because it is...
Had to bring up that show.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say a name. I didn't say a network. I just said some shows.
It rhymes with fag face. That's one of the lyrics in a Sherry Vine and my song. We have this duet, and it's like, just put a smile on your fag face, pretend you're watching Drag Race. Anyway, no, listen, I also, I don't drink. I haven't
and you're voluntarily sober. You're not legally sober. Like it wasn't court ordered.
Well, listen, I probably technically, look at me. If you've seen my makeup, I have
mental problems,
an addictive personality, and I don't know when to stop, and one is never enough. One is too much, and 100 is never enough.
Yeah.
Same with makeup. But anyway, no.
I like to have a couple more than the rest. That's what I like to say.
I don't consider myself an alcoholic, but if I had continued drinking, it probably wouldn't have ended well. But here's the good news. Working in nightlife, it gives me migraines.
Oh, for sure.
So it makes me... I would lose an entire day or two, and it's like, I don't have time for that.
Well, and I feel like when we first met, you told me you're like, I just don't like alcohol. Like you're like, I'm not craving it. It's not a thing I search out.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And I know a lot of people like that are just like, almost like naturally sober. They're like, I just don't think about alcohol. I don't like it. It's not a thing.
No. I don't like it at all. And obviously my drug of choice is food. Is this fun at all? Are we supposed to be?
This is what this podcast is. This podcast is talking about us and food.
Good.
Well, and what I wanted to talk about, I love to always, whenever I have a guest, I like to start with our origin story of how we know each other. Mm-hmm. And so we've known each other for, I don't know, like 12, 13 years. We first met at the Abbey. Maybe you've heard of it, in West Hollyweird. It's the world's biggest gay club or world's most popular. I don't know. Who cares? You will get pickpocketed. Anyway, in 2011, 2012, we met via a friend when you were like running in to the Abbey, half dragged, about to do a show.
Half dragged. Well, you can't drive in a wig.
I know, and I learned that from you, especially your wigs, which are half your height.
Can be.
But you had just come straight from Joan Rivers' house to the Abbey, and you were, I think it was like award season or something.
That's so weird because, I remember we used to pitch jokes at Melissa's house in Pacific Palisades.
I don't think Joan ever had a house in LA. Like, she only stayed at Melissa's.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Well, she paid for it.
Hi-yo.
But here's the thing. I remember there was only once where I had to do my makeup
at Melissa's house?
And go pitch jokes. Well, I did it at home and then went to pitch jokes. So I'm sitting at a table with all these other writers and Joan, and it wasn't that big of a deal. She just kind of gave me a look at first. I think she loved it. But it was just weird.
She was always in drag too. So.
Yeah, it was weird. So I remember that night.
Yeah.
Not not the Abbey. I remember Joan and her dirty looks.
You'd be surprised how many people don't remember a 6'7", 340-pound man. It blows my mind.
340?
Apparently, yeah, right now. She's up. She's up, girl. Living in Seattle, there's nothing to do but sit and eat.
They don't have.
Don't come for me. People like to come for me when I talk shit about Seattle, but I love it. I live there. I'm a resident.
Seattle's great unless you like the sunshine.
But anyway, so yeah, we met at the Abbey that night, and then
was I nice?
You were very nice.
Then it wasn't me.
Cut to like 2 years later. I ended up getting the same job with Joan Rivers, writing jokes, and then we worked for Joan for a while together before it all fell apart and she died.
Ooh, all hell broke loose.
I don't know if you talk about that time. I talk about that time as I have a lot of regrets. Do you have regrets?
Yes, I do. I feel like we were kind of forced into it.
I feel like we were bamboozled a little bit.
A little bit.
I feel like we got bamboozled. And
but I will say this, and I know we're like, she's dead.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, but I know that legally, that we're not supposed to talk about it like at all.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Joan, God love her, thought it was 1967.
Yes.
And we were all 20-year-old stand-up comedians, and this was just like a little extra, lunch money.
Right.
This was the #1 show on E. It was like all over the world, and I'm sorry to spend 8 hours, like when they had the Grammys and the Emmys and the Oscars, we would have to go to E
and do overnight cram sessions till the sun came up.
Like 5 p.m. until 6 a.m.
Yeah.
People would cry. People would be in the corner
People would
crying.
run to the bathroom and cry, yeah.
Anyway, and then, the lights would go out and you'd have to move your arm because it was motion censored.
Yeah, that's right.
There was no heat, no air conditioning. So it was kind of like
cold pizza.
I jokingly say it was like a joke sweatshop.
And boot camp, yeah. It's like sweatshop and boot camp.
I don't know about you. I learned how to write a fucking joke.
Same. I learned how to write several jokes about one thing.
Yes. Get in, get out. Look at it from all these different angles. There are word jokes. There are jokes. Here's the thing. People don't realize and a lot of people who came on board, like they would only last a week.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't last because it's not about the outfit. It can be, but it almost always, I would Google this person and I'd be like, she made a movie called blah, blah, blah. And this is blah, blah. Like you got to look for, because Joan wanted 10 jokes
per dress,
per look, per writer. That's 100 jokes.
Yeah.
And then she would ask for more.
Well, and a lot of it was, sometimes you didn't even need to know the person that was in the dress or whatever. We would tie it into like pop culture at the time. So like Charlie Sheen was doing all his craziness.
Right.
So a lot of jokes would come back to Charlie Sheen. There was kind of not an off limits list, but it was like a we've heard enough list of like, stop tying it back to Charlie Sheen. Stop tying it back to, who's the physicist that was in a wheelchair? Because we would always make
Stephen Hawking.
We would always make Stephen Hawking's jokes, and they were like, "You guys, we don't need Stephen Hawking jokes anymore. We've had enough."
Yeah, but do you remember when somebody new would come along and they would their joke would be about a bedspread or a couch or the drapes, and I'd be like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
like you're out of here.
That dress looks like my grandma's curtains, and I was like, "That's not a joke."
But here's the way to do it. Awkward moment right after this picture was taken. The cast of Downton Abbey mistook her for, a love seat and sat down on her. Like, I know that's not brilliant, but you know what I mean? Like you had to.
It's just alliteration. You have to find the flow and the jokes. You know,
and you have to get as much pop culture in there as possible.
Well, and then at the end of a season, when you've already done Rihanna every single week.
Oh, there were people that were every week.
I mean, I remember at the end, I think we had done Rihanna like 15 times. And it's like, I have already written over 100 jokes about Rihanna. I don't have anything. Nothing's happening.
I would be like, listen, I would say that I would preface the pitch and I'd be like, I pitched this 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to give this another shot. And I would say it. And sometimes she would, do you remember she'd have her arm like this and she wouldn't laugh? I mean, occasionally, God, if you made fucking Joan laugh.
Right. And I feel like almost everyone got Joan to laugh if you were good, you got Joan to laugh your first day. Cause Joan laughed at one of my jokes, my first pitch. And I feel like she did that for other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, she rarely laughed.
Well, she had an assistant who was typing the jokes, and she would have her arm kind of over like this, and then she would turn to the assistant and kind of be like, yeah, that one.
Yeah, there was little tapping and stuff like that.
And I don't know if you remember, I talk about this all the time. She's sitting like, right next to us, and she has a blue streak in her hair and one silver fingernail. And I was like, this is how she stays young. No, like people make fun of her plastic surgery, and she was working constantly. And that's why it's so sad that she died, because she was still at the top of her game.
She had so much left in her.
And I don't know if you remember this, and especially if this podcast is about eating, we would sit down and there'd be like all these snacks.
Oh yeah, M&Ms, cookies, pretzels.
And she was like, I remember once she was sitting right next to me, and she's like, have a cookie.
Yeah, she loved M&Ms too.
And I went in for a cookie, and I had one, and then I had a second cookie. I reached for a third, and she slapped my hand, and she's like, girl.
I said one.
Well, she's like, she's a Jewish mother, and she wants you to eat, but you're fat.
Yeah, they would. I mean, we would always get there early for breakfast, and her housekeeper would make us breakfast, and we'd sit at that like little corner booth.
Well, Nadia Ginsburg, our dear friend, who was also a writer, who I think Joan called her a genius, and she is.
She is.
She said that she read one of Joan's books, and Joan was like, she hates the smell of food cooking, which is so strange because to most people it's comforting, but when Joan was poor, she lived in sort of a tenement.
Yeah.
And you could smell this, sort of cabbage and not so pleasant food. So that was like a holdover. One thing I will say, I can't remember who it was. It might have been, I can't remember who it was, but it was a picture. Oh, Demi Lovato.
Okay.
And she looked pretty bad in this picture.
Yeah.
And everybody was pitching these like fat jokes, to be honest. And Joan just shut it down. She's like, this girl is struggling with body issues. She's very young. She's struggling with her weight. It goes up, it goes down. I think she's had mental issues. She may have even tried to commit suicide or something.
I think so.
And she was like, so just right now, shake the Etch-a-Sketch. She didn't say this. These are my words. I'm paraphrasing. And she said, just stop. I'm not going to make any jokes about her actual appearance.
Well, also, she never wanted to be mean or come off as mean. It always had to be a joke. The joke could feel mean, but she didn't want to just be like, she's ugly and here's a joke. She didn't want to lead with meanness.
I would imagine a lot of people watching and listening would be like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying.
She just didn't want to. And also, she knew who was a billionaire that was going to survive, and she knew who wasn't, and was probably a little more sensitive. And I feel like she knew those things too.
She could laugh at herself. And here's the thing. I see drag queens trying to do what I do, and what they forget to do is, first of all, you need to make fun of yourself first.
Yes.
Then you can go after other people. You also, when you go after other people, it needs to be funny and intelligent and have not just walk up to somebody and go, hey, cunt, You know what I mean?
Well, for sure. I mean, I feel like drag is the same way. People sit at home and think, I could do that. And then when they get into the situation and actually try to do it, aka write jokes or do drag, and then they get in there and they're like, oh, this is a lot harder than
That's why I always say, that's not a joke, that's a sentence. But it's the Andy Warhol thing where I could do that. Yeah, but you didn't.
But you didn't, and you're not, and you probably can't.
Back in the day, that was literally revolutionary. That was a fuck you to the whole art world.
Yeah.
And now how many people have,
taken what he did and
and ran with it or tried to do it.
Well, that's one of my biggest, so I'm really obsessed with art and the art world and art history, especially. It was my minor in college. I love art. And one of my biggest pet peeves.
What was your major?
Musical theater performance.
Oh, I thought it was cheese.
Defying gravity. No, we'll save it for next time.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
No, I'll keep that to myself in my heart. But one of my biggest pet peeves is when people go to an art museum or see people's art and say, I could do that. Or when they say, my 5-year-old could do that. Bitch. No, like when they see like a Jackson Pollock or,
the worst is when you're watching porn and they go, my 5-year-old could do that.
Hi-yo!
Do we need to cut that?
And now we're canceled. Now we're canceled.
Thank you, Joan.
Thanks for watching the podcast. We didn't even make a half hour.
We're going to go back to Joan. Because a joke like that is so first of all, people get mad, like, oh my God, I didn't want to laugh at that.
Yeah.
And now they're mad that you made them laugh at something that is that frankly ugly.
Kind of, if you think it through, it's fucked up,
Yes.
but it's also hilarious.
But I don't know if I ever told you this. My very first time writing for Joan was the night of the Grammys, and her head writer, Tony Tripoli, said, Joan wants you to come to the house. And I said, oh, we're all going to the house? And she's like, no, just you. You and me and Joan are going to watch the Grammys and write jokes and kiki. And it was the night after Whitney Houston died.
That Grammys.
That Grammys. So you could do the math. Girl, me, Joan Rivers, Tony Tripoli, two screaming queens, and that Jewish brain.
See, that's the kind of thing they should make a movie about, or like a Broadway show.
No.
That night should be a show.
It was off the charts. And at one point she reached over and she touched my arm and she looked me right in the eye and she's like, get it all out, because we can't say any of this on television.
Exactly.
I mean, it was, the jokes were horrible.
And that's, I mean, like when we go to lunch and stuff and we're, around our friends, I feel like that's one of our favorite things to do is say the worst possible thing that is very funny. And I feel like in the day and age of like, threads and Instagram and stuff,
cancel culture,
people aren't realizing, people are losing the art of the inside joke. There's a joke you can tell at a table of 4 people over lunch that if you tweeted it or threaded it or put it on Instagram, you would be arrested. But it's funny at a table in front of 4 people. You don't have to tell other people. You don't have to put it on the internet forever. You could just make a joke that is so awful.
Well, that's a safe place.
And funny. Yeah.
That's a safe place. And I have had a group of friends and had one friend, their situation changed. I don't want to get too specific. They were single. There was a bunch of us. All of a sudden, she's not single anymore. And I made a joke and she was offended. And it was just like, it was so weird. Like, I didn't feel safe anymore.
Yes.
Like,
I've been in that
now
situation.
you think I'm a bad person? It was so weird. Like, you don't know who I am? Like, I'm the most liberal person. That was just, sometimes you just say the worst possible thing because, but here's the problem. There are people saying the worst possible thing and they actually, it is rooted in racism or misogyny or,
And they're broadcasting it. And it's like, that was supposed to be for the 4 people at lunch. You weren't supposed to tell other people
And
that.
I love
time and place.
Conservative comedy is the saddest thing ever.
So there's that Fox News version of The Daily Show where they like try to be, Republican funny, and it's all they do is just make fun of what liberal people do, but they're just being mean and making fun. There's never jokes. It's like what we just said about Fashion Police. There's no joke there. You're just saying sentences. You're just being dumb for 45 minutes.
To be fair, if you are making fun of conservatives and Republicans, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, and it's like the jokes write themselves. Like, honestly, it's like
true.
It's so ludicrous.
Yeah, and it's like I was talking to my friend last night about how like when it comes to like celebrity endorsements and stuff, I feel like their side has no one cool. Like literally no one fun and no one cool.
Yeah, no wonder they're mad at Taylor Swift. First of all, these are the people who are fighting for, freedom of speech.
But then they don't want people to talk.
I love Trump because he just tells it like it is, and like, don't tell us what to say and what not to say. And then, Taylor Swift endorses Kamala Harris, and they're all freaking out. It's like, wait a minute, I thought you were pro freedom of speech.
Yeah, just shut up and sing.
Yeah, shut up and sing.
What about Kid Rock? Well, Kid Rock can say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
It's like, no one's listening.
Kid Rock, just shut up. You can't sing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the whole, what's his name? The guy who took a knee?
Oh, Kaepernick, Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah. It's like, as a drag queen, I can totally relate to just make me laugh, just dance, you monkey. Like give the monkey, an Adderall and like do a show.
It's like the old timey like organ grinder
like, no,
kind of thing.
There's a person under there.
Yeah.
So you want to sit at home on your fat ass and watch basketball and football and all these shows that gay people write and produce and are in.
Yeah.
And your wife goes to the beauty parlor and, you know, the local queen does her makeup and makes her fuckable for you. But do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
but they're getting brain damage and getting these, you know, injured for your pleasure and your entertainment so you can escape from your boring, miserable life. And then they're literally peacefully and reverently taking a knee.
Correct.
To point out that these people are being killed innocent people are being, and it's like, shut up and play ball.
Yeah.
Like, just entertain.
You're here for me.
The straight white
You do what
man.
I want. Yeah. And it's so funny because someone can do something as simple as being quiet, taking a knee during the national anthem, and they say that it's the loudest thing possible. And it's like, you still got to sing your song.
But January 6th was just a walking tour. Like, they're blowing it all out of proportion.
Yeah. It was a fun day of love and respect. Like, people died. I will say, I will never give a person on that side credit, so I will not say the name that it came from. But there is like there's one semi-funny joke that I've heard from a conservative, which is, you know, Democrats open their calendar app and every single day is January 6th or something like that. There was a joke about, like, they open their calendar and every day is January 6th, and I was like, that's kind of funny, but fuck off.
Yeah.
I will not credit the asshole that tweeted it, but it is possible to get good jokes. I won't tolerate it.
Well, it depends on who it's. No. I also, you know, these people are like just talking about pride.
Yeah.
Like, people genuinely, with no irony whatsoever. What about straight pride? And
every day of the year.
Which is, you know,
Walmart.
Essentially saying all lives matter. Mm-hmm. It's like, somebody summed it up this way. It's like, if you went to a breast cancer event and started yelling, you know, what about testicular cancer? It's like, yes, it's a terrible thing, but this particular event is focused on this.
Multiple things can be true at the same time.
It's the ultimate entitlement and privilege that you think that you need to be included in fucking everything. Yeah. This is not about you.
Not everything is for everyone, and at the same time.
Well, not everything is for straight white Christians.
And they're really struggling with that because it always has been.
And they love playing the victim. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, all those TikToks of those Christian ladies that look like porn stars, first of all.
Oh, they're all like cookie cutter.
Yeah, like total like OnlyFans, you know, and, you know, just making these, like, they think they're such a slam dunk and they're just playing the victim. When somebody tells me that the Bible is, you know, I don't know, it's like, God, I hate it.
So this reminds me of the other thing I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh.
Which is your history with Roseanne.
Wait a minute. I'm not the host of this show.
Not anymore.
I knew you were going to get to Roseanne.
Taking the reins back. No, because I have always been fascinated with your relationship with Roseanne. I was a Roseanne superfan growing up. I mean, a lot of us were. Roseanne was like, especially for stand-up comedians, like Roseanne was like such an icon. And her downward spiral. I mean, do you have any contact with her at all anymore?
No.
A little history. Jackie used to work with Roseanne a lot, wrote a lot of stuff for her, correct?
Yeah, well, I was doing a show at, like, I want to say FUBAR or the Parlor, one of these crappy
That's
little,
amazing.
You know, fire trap.
Yeah.
You know, smells like, you know,
feet and
it
regret.
Smells like Jack Daniels and cum.
Yeah.
And barf.
Yeah.
Anyway, she came to a show probably with her, you know, manager, James. And when it was over, she was like, oh my God, you're hilarious. I want to work with you. And I always say, you know, working in Los Angeles, that happened every once in a while. And I'd be like,
it's a real thing.
Yeah. And you'd be like, okay. After a while, you're like, all right, yeah.
That's how I got Tony to bring me in for Joan.
Yeah, but usually it's a party promise. In other words,
Correct.
Like, she has, you know, a couple of drinks and she means it at the moment, but you never. The next day, the phone rang. And then I went to her house and she was standing up in the kitchen eating beluga caviar with Cool Ranch Doritos. which I was like, okay, that's her in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off. And she was so amazing. And I remember when we did 7 weeks at the New York in Las Vegas. She had me open for her. And she'd be like backstage and be like, sing the song about the big dicks tonight. I want to fuck with these people. And during that run, she had a Seder at the Four Seasons. She rented this private banquet room. And she's like, invite whoever you want. And she wore this like sort of apron schmata thing that she, I guess, always wore for things like that. It was just so casual and so beautiful. And she rewrote the entire thing to include everyone. And she rewrote it, and it was like, this is not just about the Jews. This is about people of color. This is about LGBTQ people. This is about any marginalized, people in society. So she was so liberal and so loving. And her sister's gay, her brother's gay. She's surrounded by gay people. And it's just, I can't explain. Oh, and then her manager was like, she could pay somebody $100 to open for her. She was paying me so much money. I mean, I can't even tell you. I want to say it out loud.
She was generous.
After 7 weeks, I put a down payment on a house.
Oh my God.
And then there was another time where I was complaining about my weight.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And she said, why don't you get your stomach stapled like I did? And I was like, I just bought a house, and I don't, drag queens don't have, there's no drag queen insurance. She wrote a check for like $29,000 and sent me to her doctor.
You can't perform for 6 weeks.
Right.
After the surgery,
she just wrote a check. So that's why it's so difficult, because she literally changed my life, and she was such an amazing person.
Do you think she has like some kind of mental psychosis that is affecting her?
Well, first of all, I mean, I'm not a medical doctor.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, I would never go so far as to say that.
You're not going to diagnose.
Here's the number one thing. There are a lot of hippies, and that's what she is. She's kind of punk rock / hippie who... There's a fine line. They flip. All of a sudden, they're all about conspiracy theories, and the government's out to get you, and vaccinations are bad. And do you know what I mean? Like,
for sure. And it bums me out so much.
There's people online, and if you buy into all these conspiracy theories, it's hard for me not to think you just have too much time on your hands.
Yeah.
So maybe she has too much time on her hands now. People get bored. Their lives are not exciting. So it's all about, like, everyone's the Illuminati. Mm-hmm. Every single person who's successful in Hollywood is a baby eating, blood drinking. They really think this.
Well, they think,
and it's well, that would make sense if they weren't supremely talented.
Yeah.
Like, Beyonce's good.
It's weird when like rich famous people are saying it, because it's like you're on the inside, like somebody like Roseanne or like Rosie O'Donnell sometimes likes to bring up conspiracy theories and just be like, I'm just asking questions, and it's like, that's a conspiracy theory, it's not real. But it's like when you talk about rich people being in Illuminati drinking baby in Modichrome or whatever it's called, you're the rich person on the inside. You are at one point one of the most famous people in the country. You should know these answers. You've been to these parties. Where's the proof?
Yeah. Well, it's similar to, I mean, the way my brain works. All these people who say Kamala Harris like slept her way to the top. Like, that says more about you thinking that a woman cannot actually be intelligent, hardworking, ambitious, like, that's the only way a woman can do it. And first of all, okay, maybe she had an affair. Maybe she slept with somebody. Like, Trump, how many fucking abortions do you think Trump is responsible for? I would say has paid for
himself and his children.
Yes. And, he's cheated on every wife.
Yeah. It's like, do you not see what's happening
Melania
here?
is a prostitute. I mean, that's just
sex
a
worker.
fact.
We call them sex workers.
And I am pro-sex worker.
Yes.
But until you're,
Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah, no, I mean, I heard a story that they had this art show in New York. It's very exclusive. Only like millionaires and billionaires can go. Each painting corresponds with a woman. You actually bid on the painting, and you're actually bidding on the woman, and you get her for like 2 weeks, and I guess she was a keeper.
And you believe this?
We just said conspiracy theories are I believe it. I believe it.
Isn't that the story of Taken with Liam Neeson?
I've never seen that.
Well, maybe you should.
I saw Takeout with
You see
Liam
Takeout a
Neeson.
lot.
No, it's wow.
But see, this is an inside joke. No one will hear that. So that's just for us here in this room right now.
No, I don't know if people have seen Takeout with Liam Neeson. It's somebody steals his Grubhub order off his porch, and then 90 minutes of him tracking them down.
Sold in the room.
I'm going to kill you.
That's a pitch that sells in the room. All
Hello.
right, that's an industry term. You sold it in the room.
Green light it.
Well, I think this is a perfect time to transition. I mean,
I'm not going to transition. I'm 6 feet tall, and no.
You're also, what you said, 74 now? It's a little late. But I think this is a perfect time to transition to our final segment, which is What's Your Order? What's your order?
I am 61 years old, so when you say final segment, it's like Final Destination. It sends a...
You may never make it home after this.
Sends a chill up my spine.
I like to do this thing on my podcast here,
Yes.
GFF and Friends, called What's Your Order, where I put America's favorite fast food restaurants into this little takeout cup that used to be filled with soup or salad dressing. And we're going to pull one out.
I'm going to guess a cream-based salad dressing.
Always. I used to eat mayonnaise sandwiches as a child. So we're just going to pick out a restaurant.
Were you poor?
No.
Oh, just fat.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. I'm not poor. I was just fat.
Yes.
I've been in this body for quite some time. All right. So just there's only 2 left. So just
has
pick
your
one
boyfriend.
out.
Okay.
Pick
There's
one.
2. Why is there only 2?
Well, I've had a lot of guests.
Oh, I see.
So today's What's Your Order is for drumroll. Subway. Eat fresh. Do you enjoy to eat fresh?
You know, I must say.
Well, you're vegan now.
Yeah,
so.
everything has changed since I've gone vegan. But listen,
I think their bread is vegan.
Listen, probably most bread is actually, and especially like fast food places, like, you know, if you can make bread with water and salt and flour,
I mean, that's pretty much
and not
it, yeah.
add eggs and milk, and you know that just makes things more expensive.
Yeah.
So they used to have, I'm sure they still have it. They have a veggie. They're like kind of like square or like rectangles.
Oh, it's made with like pita bread or something, but.
Pita bread.
Oh, you're talking about the like almost like Impossible, like the meat.
Yeah. It was kind of like old school, like veggie burger, but it's like the shape of the bread. It almost looks like, you know, a hash brown. But anyway, I'm not sure. That may just be vegetarian. I would have to look into it. In the UK, Subway has vegan options, but I must say it is delicious to have just like all the veggies, tons of black olive,
my fave,
like salt and pepper and the, you know, like vinegar, oil and vinegar, and just make like a big salad sandwich.
Yeah.
I know that there are probably people rolling their eyes, but like when you eat a big Italian sub, which by the way, if you're in the Los Angeles area, you can go to Maciel's. It is a vegan butcher shop / restaurant.
What are they butchering? Carrots?
Tofu.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, pea protein and whatever, gluten. Anyway, they make like amazing, like Italian. Yeah.
Real.
But anyway, like I just feel like if you put like, you know, oil and vinegar and salt and pepper and you have all the veggies, like, do you really need the meat? Like the real flavor, like you get the crunch in the anyway.
Well, also on your vegan journey, are you like struggling with it? Do you have like non-vegan cheat days? Like if you like you're like, I need a chicken nugget right now. Like
absolutely not.
Well, then that's great.
No, you can't cheat or you're not vegan.
Yeah.
Oh, and I didn't say this earlier. Like one of the reasons was for health, but also like, I'm so sorry. With social media now and TikToks, you see pigs acting exactly like somebody's dog.
Well, that's why I won't eat octopus. Octopus are so smart, octopi. They're so smart. I'm pretty sure they're aliens. That's my conspiracy theory. They're watching us. I'm not going to eat our watchers.
Yeah.
They're too smart.
I just can't eat animals anymore.
No, I get it.
And listen, I crave nuggets. They have Impossible Nuggets, and they have. You can get anything you want, you can get.
Yeah.
And you can get kind of used to it. It's not exactly the same, but to me, the nugget is like the crunch, the juiciness inside, the barbecue sauce. So if you can do it, why not do it? And I was going to say something else. I can't remember.
Well, you save the animals. You save the animals because you have a big heart, and that's probably what's going to kill you. But
I do. I'm a big softie. Mm-hmm. That's what my trainer at the gym calls me anyway.
Big softie.
Yeah.
They announce it over the intercom when you walk in. So that's good. So, and then you do like a meat substitute occasionally. Like, you're like, I need
probably more than I should.
I need a nugget. Okay.
Oh my God, you can get burgers. You can get
everything. And is Impossible, like the ground meat Impossible stuff, is it vegan?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will say this: Burger King is a lifesaver because they have an Impossible Whopper. They are so good.
Do they have vegan cheese yet?
No, they don't have vegan cheese, but I get it without mayonnaise because you have to specify.
Yeah, because they probably don't have vegan mayonnaise
extra pickles and extra ketchup because you have to make it a little juicy.
I like a sauce. I need a sauce on a thing.
It's just so good. And their fries are vegan, and I get a bottled water, and I am the happiest person.
And now, are you vegan when it comes to like bugs? Like, are you doing honey? No honey.
No honey.
What about your makeup?
That is a whole thing that I need to, because I mean, I have so much makeup that is already there, and I'm like, okay, if I throw all that away,
the animal already died.
I know it's a fine line. So
when you started vegan, you're probably looking for vegan products now.
Yes,
like it is kind of dumb to replace your entire collection.
And also, I've done drag for 35 years, and I'm a little set in my ways. I know that sounds like I'm justifying. But I mean, it would be so much work to research every product I have. But most new products are cruelty free, obviously.
Yeah.
I do my best.
That's great. You're doing your best. You're doing what you can, and you feel good about it. That's all that matters. Like, one person is not going to revolutionize the animal industry.
The blood work of a 20-year-old athlete.
And don't you forget it.
I mean, they're at the Special Olympics. But no. Oh shit. That was
do they still have the Special Olympics?
Yes, and they're allowed to call it the Special Olympics. But it's not so. But the gay games had to they used to be the Gay Olympics, and the Olympics came and said, we're going to sue your gay gaping asses.
But so Paralympics and Special Olympics are two different things.
I think Paralympics is for paraplegics specifically, so it's wheelchair. No, I'm just saying. Special Olympics is all sorts of,
I think Paralympics is for. Well, it's not for paralyzed because it's people with like prosthetics and stuff. I don't know what para stands for because paraplegic is like when your neck is broken and you're in a wheelchair.
That's double paraplegic. That's DP.
You know a lot about that.
That's so confusing. There are certain things you should not use letters for, because like when somebody says, do you want some DP? I'm like, Dolly Parton, Dr. Pepper. Right?
Double penetrate.
Double penetrate.
Good luck finding a second person to stick it in this. So my Subway order. My Subway order is...
Oh, wait. I don't remember anyone asking. Is this how it works?
Yeah, then I tell you my order.
All right.
Which... living in Seattle, we live in a neighborhood that is very far west, and the only fast food restaurant in our entire neighborhood is a Subway.
Okay.
So we do get it from time to time. Mm-hmm. Also, Subway has a very distinct mayonnaise. It's a proprietary mayonnaise that's only served at Subway.
Right.
And it's delicious with their bread. Like you go to Subway for their mayonnaise. So Subway is a mayonnaise delivery vehicle into this body.
Okay.
And I do two things. I do the cold cut combo, which is just like 3 different bolognas pretty much, with American cheese toasted. And then I get lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion, and a shit ton of mayonnaise. Like, have you seen that Delta Work clip where she talks about the mayonnaise? Yeah. That's how much mayonnaise I want. I want a half mayonnaise sandwich with a couple vegetable toppings. I love mayonnaise.
No black olives?
Not on that sandwich. And then I get the other sandwich I get is the hot turkey or hot chicken breast sandwich. And on that one, I get black olives because I like it with like the warm chicken.
Right.
I also I wish they would do Kalamata olives, which are like the salty black olives, like the Greek olives.
Like Greek or Mediterranean.
Because,
there is something about those black olives, though, that I grew up with as a kid. I make taco salad a lot now. with
Okay.
like literally just buy shredded iceberg.
Yeah.
You know, taco seasoning, the fake hamburger meat. You know, I buy these little cherry tomatoes and cut them in half. Corn, beans, like just, oh my God, shredded vegan.
I was going to say a lot of like, I feel like Mexican food and like Greek food are already kind of inherently vegetarian and vegan. And then it's usually something you just add meat to.
Well, again, if you're in Los Angeles, I mean, first of all, Chipotle.
Yeah.
You can.
So easy to be vegetarian.
So
at
easy
Chipotle.
to be there.
Several options.
Yeah. Including their sofritos, which is the, you know, like.
Yeah. Their vegetarian blend.
If you live in Los Angeles, Zanku chicken, everything is vegan except for the meat.
Yeah.
So
the
you
hummus.
can get falafel, hummus, tahini, the rice,
Zanku's
the
so
salad.
good. I need to
It's
go.
so good.
You just reminded me. I'm here for a couple more days.
Oh, you have to go.
I
You're
gotta
in
go to
Glendale.
Zanku. It's my favorite.
Oh my God, you may as well be in Armenia. Go. Do it.
Well, that's one of the things I miss most about LA, living in Seattle. There's just not a lot of
Multiculturalism?
but there is, but it's very bland and like kind of dumbed down for a certain demographic.
Yeah.
I won't say names. But
Somebody told me recently that there is a Chipotle. It's like a Middle Eastern Chipotle called Kava.
Oh yeah,
Have
I've
you
heard of that place.
Yeah.
I think it's big in like Texas.
Oh really?
I've seen a lot of like influencers in Texas say like, "Here's my Kava order." It's bowls as well, kind of like
I hope
Chipotle.
those are in Austin. I hope they're liberals because I hate it when. I mean, you know, that's my whole thing. You've heard me say this on stage. It's like if you believe in build a wall and you think that that's a shithole country, then you don't even get to eat a fucking taco. Stay at
that
home.
makes me angry.
Stay at home. You don't get to enjoy that culture even on the simplest level. Stay at home and eat your braised cabbage, you fucking piece of shit Nazi.
I think the same thing for drag gay comedians.
Yes.
Like I feel like you don't get to enjoy me if you don't support me.
Right.
You know?
Well,
I hate that.
I did a show in Palm Springs several years ago, and there was a table of brittle old white ladies, and I could just see them like cringing and, you know, like, and recoiling at certain jokes. And I'm sure they, you know, saw that it was a drag show and thought I was going to be lip syncing Celine Dion, and I'm singing songs about sucking dick, and I'm the most liberal person on the planet. And at one point I said, you know, I know how Palm Springs is. Did anybody here vote for Donald Trump? And not one arm went up. And I said, honey, somebody voted for him. And if you voted for him and you won't put your arm up, you need to go home and think about that.
Yeah.
And then I went home and I wrote, hey, big spender from,
Sweet Charity?
Sweet Charity. I rewrote it as straight cisgender about these people who go to drag shows and laugh at the clown. Ha ha ha, escape from your miserable, boring life, like I said earlier. And then they go behind that curtain and vote against the person underneath. Like, no, that's not the way it works.
Not to support us and drown us out.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Because if we're gone, then you got nothing. What are you going to do without us?
Honey.
We make it go round.
Muffy talks about this all the time. She's like, we really should cut this country right down the middle.
I think about that all the time.
Just go live there. We'll live here. She's like, you'll be knocking on our door. She's like, you'll want our food,
Yeah.
you'll want our TV
You'll be here
shows,
so
you'll want our
fast.
movies, you'll want this, you'll want that, and I always say, you'll want our porn.
They always want.
They
our porn.
always-
It always comes
honey.
out. Well, I joke all the time. I was just doing a podcast with my friend Jeff, saying like, and I've threaded about this before. Do you know how many empires would crumble if a dick pic leaked of the person in charge of that empire? Could you imagine if Elon's dick pic leaked? His life would be over. The world would ruin because it's probably ugly.
Oh, it's not.
It's probably little and ugly. But
The only thing he and Trump, they have two things in common. Daddy didn't love me and small dick energy.
small dick energy, ugly.
Here's
dick
what I always say
energy.
about Elon Musk. He has all that money and that's the best he can look.
And the best he can be.
Wow.
It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, but I mean, at least if I had billions of dollars, like get a proper fucking facelift. He's hideous.
Can you get gastric bypass twice?
No, Roseanne used to say, like, I'm a modern miracle. Like, I worked my way through it or something. I can't remember what she said. Like, yeah, no, you can easily, obviously.
Well, and also my biggest thing with rich people is like, why do you want to keep working after the age of 65?
Oh, my God.
You have all the money in the world. Go lay on a beach and be quiet. Why do you
Madonna.
need... Yeah.
Like, you have the hottest boyfriend.
You can make music and not have to tour it. You can just make music and live on a beach and just be out of the way. Like you don't need to, especially run for politics.
Here's the thing. There are people, and I hate to, I don't want to lump Madonna in with Trump, but there are certain people.
We don't think that they are similar.
Like, that is literally their addiction, is the attention and the adoration. So if that goes away, who are you? And it takes a certain level. It takes a certain level of ambition and neediness and that hole that can't be filled. No pun intended. Now stop. Now stop. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just turn that off. Because, honey, if I had the money, I would go away so fast. I do not need anybody looking at me.
For sure. You'll never see me again. I will never post online again. I'm done.
Have you heard of this? There was an older couple, and they found that it was cheaper for them to live on vegan cheese. Dude. No, they live on a cruise ship. The only thing that would scare me is, you can get sick. It's very easy to get sick on a cruise ship, but they literally, like, all their meals, they have shows. It just sounds fun.
Well, that's how Scientology was born, because L. Ron Hubbard had to live on a ship out in the middle of the ocean in international waters, so he didn't get arrested for all the bad shit he did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, are you also a Scientologist now?
No.
Did you ever think about it?
No.
Never? I thought about, I would say I lived here for like 4 years. So I lived in LA for 15 years. But after about 4 years, I was like, okay, what if I joined Scientology and that got me famous? Like, what if I did the program? I never believed in it, but what if I played the program and they got me an acting career? I only thought about it for a second, but I feel like everybody thinks about it for like a second. I feel like also back in the day, Scientology could hand you an amazing career on a platter if you just read their books or whatever.
If you look like a young Tom Cruise.
Are you saying I don't?
You look like an older Tom Cruise.
Could you imagine if Tom Cruise got fat? I think about it all the time. Like, I guess it hasn't happened since like Marlon Brando, but like if your favorite hot actor just stayed the same, just got fat and just lived their life like that. I dream about it all the time.
I was thinking of Elvira recently, and I was like,
I'm always thinking about Elvira.
She still looks so amazing, even out of Elvira drag. And I was like, I wonder if she ever just wants to she lives in Portland now.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
With her BD?
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many letters.
And it would just be so amazing if she was just like,
let it go. Oh, well, you know who my favorite is Bridget Fonda. Have you seen Bridget Fonda now?
Yes.
I am obsessed with her.
Kathleen Turner.
But Kathleen Turner still is acting. Yeah. Bridget Fonda, not only did Bridget Fonda leave, she tells people, hey, will you ever be in a movie again? She's like, fuck no. Leave me alone. No, yeah, I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom raising my kids. Leave me alone. She did the rich person thing, which is got a lot of money, had a good little career. Now she has kids and she left and she doesn't do anything. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. No interviews. No red carpets.
I can respect both choices.
Yeah.
I mean, I really can. Like,
I guess as long as you're not using your platform to hurt people.
I just don't like the desperation of look at me and I'm constantly trying to like keep up with things and like I'm still young. It's like, no, just go ahead and embrace that you're older and take those parts. And
that's why I'm really obsessed with Pam Anderson right now.
Unbelievable.
Because I love that she is literally just saying fuck you to makeup and hair, but still in the fashion industry, still walking red carpets, doing everything. But she's like, I don't want to play those games anymore. She's like, I'm an older woman. This is what I look like. Take it or leave it. I don't care.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. And it's amazing and great. And I love it too. But the people in the industry are trying to be all like, that's great, but they're selling a product and a big,
true.
You know what I mean? So no hair, no makeup. Like, what are you selling then? And I'm sure they, appreciate it, but only to a point. And also a big part of those sales are based on, dissatisfaction, unhappiness, low self-esteem. So, yeah.
Well, that's why I'm obsessed with Ozempic, because I think I'm going to start taking Ozempic soon as a joke to kind of troll the fitness community. It's a whole thing. And if it works, I will reveal my master plan.
Here's the thing.
Have you tried it yet?
Yes.
Currently?
Let me just tell you, no, 3 weeks. And I was like, I felt like total and utter shit. Like I literally
Did you do like actual Ozempic, or did you do one of the other ones? But did you do like Mounjaro, or did you do a brand? Do you know?
I don't think it was a brand.
Okay.
It was just semaglutide. Is that like
yeah.
So anyway, I was like, in my 20s, I loved to feel hungry, that burn. And in my 20s, like, you know, all I did was listen to the Smiths, and everything was so terrible. And I'm like, I don't want to lean into this. Like, first of all, I'm healthy, like, you know, like relatively healthy. So I just have a bad feeling about this. Like 3 weeks in, I was like, I feel like crap. I have a feeling that 6 months from now or a year from now, I'm going to be like, why didn't I leave well enough alone? Like there's like, to feel this bad is not worth it. I'm doing it for everybody else.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's an experiment to see if it does anything to me, because I love this body. I enjoy this body. I love being fat. I actually, like, sometimes when I talk to people, it's like asking people their pronouns. It's like, can I call you fat? Because you are. Like, if I use the word fat around you, are you going to be okay? But I love the word fat. And I love being gay, obviously. I love the word gay, but like sometimes I'll type gay fat friend into comments being like, what's the name of your podcast? Gay fat friend. And TikTok or Instagram will just delete it for bullying because I use those words.
Yeah. Well, as a drag queen, I can't even, call a friend a bitch.
Yeah, right. It's
People
bullying.
can threaten to kill me, but I can't call, a drag queen
like literally call me the F slur, but I can't. Yeah. But, no, I love my body, so I don't want to change it for other people. But I have noticed that I'm like oddly out of breath in situations I shouldn't be out of breath in. And, I'm getting older. I'm 44. And my blood work is also great. I'm not even pre-diabetic. I'm just a large man because I've been large my whole life.
Yeah.
But I am only wearing Carhartt farm clothes now because that's what I can buy off the rack. So I would
farm clothes.
Literally.
No, I used to have this joke like
uniform of the working man.
The American woman goes to Dress Barn to buy a new outfit so her husband can take her to Golden Corral. It's like we're essentially turning into farm animals, and we love it.
Oh, we didn't even know it. But yeah, I want to be a little smaller to be not so out of breath all the time, and just be a little more comfortable. But I'll always be fat.
Okay.
I will never be lean. I'll never be skinny ever.
I say this all the time. First of all, as a drag queen, the weight does add a curvaceousness. Like they say at a certain age,
it's part of your job.
At a certain age, like a woman has to choose between her ass and her face. Have you heard that?
No.
So like Sherry Vine is like so thin. Her legs are amazing. Like she looks amazing. Mm-hmm. But sometimes your face can get too gaunt. I'm not saying she doesn't look great. Her face looks great too.
Yeah.
But
just naturally aging.
Yeah, but here's my thing. I always say there's a tipping point. I don't mind being big. I don't need to be skinny, but there is a certain point personally where I just start to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I just I'm not moving as well. You can be a big person and enjoy life and, still be healthy. But there is a point where personally I'm like, I need to rein things in.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ozempic is, I don't think you should do it. I really don't. I think, just change a few things. Well, and take a walk every day.
True. And that's the other thing. It's like so hard to do in Seattle, go outside 9 months out of the year because it is, cold and foggy and windy all the time. But
I think that sounds like a nice walk.
Bike. I do have an exercise bike.
Kind of sounds nice. Just bundle up.
No, it's nice, but not every day. And like it gets to you, after a certain point. But
clearly,
also, I want to. Hello. I want to do it to troll the fitness influencers are like, buy my program for $200 a month and I'm going to teach you how to lose weight and gain muscle and blah, blah, blah. And be like, or I could spend $200 a month and take an injection and just sit at home.
Yeah.
So I just want to see if it'll work. It's an experiment.
My thing about Ozempic is there's no free lunch even when you're skipping lunch. No, this is how the American system works. They rush a drug through. Everybody takes it. They make billions and billions and billions. And then they start figuring out the side effects and what can happen. And then they pull it off the market. They pay a nickel out,
I feel like it's been out enough now and enough people are taking it that I don't think a major scandal is going to happen, but we shall see.
Google eyesight.
We shall see. But also, another reason why is because it's trickled down through everything, and now it's in the med spas, and now you can get cheap compounded med spa stuff. And I'm like, I feel like once it makes it down to the med spas, if you're even getting real product, could be fake, who knows? But I feel like that's almost like a litmus test of like, okay, well, Fin never made it into the med spas, you know? And everybody had to get pig valve replacements in their hearts.
Oh.
Did you know anybody that died of Fin?
Sort of.
Really?
And it was kind of recently.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So they had lasting effects from Fin.
No. They were like, I'm on Fen. I was like, didn't they take
How
that
did they
off the
even
market?
get that?
I got it in Mexico. It's Mexican Fen.
That's my
I was
biggest
like,
fear. Nope.
Can't say who.
You're like,
but I think it really led to, and it's not. It was more like, I mean, that's speed.
Yeah.
So I think it was like, it's a lot. Let's not go there.
We'll talk about it off camera.
No.
But anyway, I think that's a great.
This is too long. I never say this. This is too long.
I was going to say you've never turned down anything long.
Too thick and too juicy. It's just, no.
But I think that's a perfect time to end it. We made it to an hour. You did it.
I'm going to go get a vegan lunch.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for doing my podcast.
Of course. I love it.
Tell everybody where you want them to find you. What are you working on right now?
I really need people to follow me on social media.
Which one do you want to build up the most?
All of them.
Okay, so Instagram, TikTok.
No, I don't even do TikTok. I really don't.
You were doing TikTok live, weren't you?
No.
Or just Instagram live?
Instagram live, Facebook
so Instagram
live.
The most.
Instagram, yeah.
Just Jackie Beat?
Yes, Jackie Beat.
Jackie the way Jackie is spelled and Beat the way Beat is spelled. Jackie Beat on Instagram. But you're also on TikTok. You have a TikTok page.
I don't do anything on it.
There's so much money there. You need to do it.
Oh God.
That's my job. I make all my money from TikTok. Well, and Threads and Instagram, but most of it is from TikTok.
I need like.
You need a producer. You need guidance.
Well, yeah, I need a mentor.
Also, I would be willing to bet you have the content on a hard drive. I bet you have shows filmed, and you could upload a number.
I guess
you could upload a 60-second clip of I don't know, started AIDS down in Africa, and you could go viral.
Literally. All right. And on that note,
thank you so much for watching and listening and tuning in and liking and sharing, and tell your friends. This has been GFF and Friends with my friend Jackie B. She does have eyes. Look at that youthful glow. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and we'll see you on the next one. All right. We love you. Goodbye.